It's a little hard to look because my lashes are a little heavy and it makes me want to like squint my eyes, but I don't like how I look squinted, so I'm trying to open my eyes. But I also have my lights right there, so. Although my makeup is looking really good, I try to make it red and fiery and dark for the occasion. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. My name is Demonetized, simply because I don't give a fuck, and welcome back to my channel. So I couldn't help but thinking about how everything going on in the world with quarantine and COVID and this presidential election. I'm American. Please help, send help. Please send prayers. Please send whatever you can send to help us. I'm also brown. Extra help, please. I'm also a woman. I need 3 times help. I'm also in the LGBT community. Just help, please. So, and I couldn't help but realize how all of this is feeling like multiple layers of hell. And if you know, if you're a history person or if you're a literature person, you know where this is going. Dante's Inferno. Dante's Inferno, if you don't know, it's the first part in a 3-part series called the Divine Comedy. Most people only focus on Dante's Inferno. It's the first part, it's the most known part. This is Dante's self-insert taking a tour through hell. And this tour, it's showing the multiple layers, the multiple sins that people have done to get into these layers, and so on and so forth. It's actually really interesting to learn about. I haven't read it. I want to read it. The only thing that makes it very difficult and makes me kind of stay away from it is that Dante gave a lot of cameos to people who didn't really deserve cameos. For hell, which I thought was funny, he put a lot of his neighbors in there that he didn't like. That's hilarious, and that's the level of pettiness I strive to be. He also gave a lot of cameos to people who he thought were important and thought would always be important, but are not important anymore. He kind of saved them from that second death that the Egyptians talked about, where people no longer talk about you, where people forget your name. He saved a lot of people from that simply by putting their name in this eternal book. I'll put a video down below that describes the layers a lot better than me. They also have a series of like all 3 parts, so I'll put those down too. This is by a channel that does by no means needs my help. I don't even have a single subscriber right now, and I'm still making this video. But you know, if you want to know, there it is. So like I said, Dante gave multiple layers and for multiple sins, and he also gave a punishment for each one. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to first say the layer, the punishment, and then the quarantine equivalent, and then what I think the punishment would be. This is my rendition of what I think quarantine hell would actually look like. This is just for me, and why the fuck not? So in the first layer of hell, that is Limbo. Basically those people who were not bad enough to make it into like helly hell, but also not good enough to make it into purgatory or heaven. Purgatory, in the book series, you can then, after you abolish your sins, you can then go forth into heaven. But these people, they weren't good enough to make it there, but they're bad enough to go to hell. Their punishment is to be forever in limbo and forever wanting to meet God. But like I said, they're never going to, because of where they are. But yeah, the quarantine version of Limbo, in my opinion, I think it would be those who were as unaffected by this as possible. Like those who, they didn't lose their job was like mainly at home or by themselves anyway, so there was no new applications needed in order to keep them safe. They don't have any kids or pets. Like those ones who were just as unaffected as physically possible. Like the only effect they had was everything shutting down and having to wear a mask in public. Those are the ones who I think are going to limbo simply because they make me mad and I don't want them in my life. And I'm mad at the fact that you had nothing to hurt you. Not like this has completely blown me out of the water. I am beyond affected by this, but they're just over there having like nothing. Their bills are still paid, their credit score is unaffected, all this is normal, things are just carrying on. They're like, wow, that's really bad for them over there. And your punishment for being like as unaffected by that as possible is just eternal confusion over what is going on in the world. Even the slightest thing can confuse you. Just out of my face. The second layer of hell in Dante's Inferno is those who are too lusty to have functioned. Their punishment was eternal winds. It's really windy. I don't get it. I don't understand how that's a punishment for lust. He tried to make these things correlate to the actual sin that was committed, but he didn't hit the mark with this one for me. I don't get it. Someone explain it to me. The quarantine version of this would be those who were on Tinder during quarantine, like somebody else I know. So those who are on Tinder, Bumble, or anything else that was just like there to have a good time during quarantine, your punishment, you're gonna get a hookup. You're gonna do the most. You're gonna get as all glammed up as I am right now for the most little payoff. Like, they're either gonna be too small to satisfy you, not knowing what they're doing, or if you're a girl going for a girl, that her nails are gonna be sharp. Enjoy. That is your eternal punishment. Doing the most for the least. Have fun with that for your quarantine hell. The third layer of hell in Dante's Inferno is gluttony. So I get the things mixed up between gluttony and greed. I keep Googling it and then it keeps mixing in my head. No matter how many times I Google it, as soon as I get off, it keeps remixing in my head. The punishment for gluttony is eternal cold, icy rains. Enjoy. I associate gluttony with food, so icy rain to me, again, doesn't make sense. But because I associate it with food, the quarantine version of that will be those who are eating too much and taking all the good snacks at Walmart. Because sometimes I want my milk chocolate chip Oreos too, because the s'mores ones are the closest ones you can get, but I don't like the s'mores one. This may be my American entitlement talking, but I want my milk chocolate Oreos, but y'all keep taking them all. Stop taking all the goldfish. Stop taking all the good snacks. Those are the ones who are going to hell, not the ones who are all of us who are all getting the quarantine 15, okay? We understand that's happening, whatever. That's a thing. I'm talking about the people who are buying all the good snacks so that I can't have any of the good snacks. I want good snacks too. That's what I'm supposed to eat with my alcohol. You think I'm supposed to eat actual food? No. You don't eat actual food with booze. You eat snacks like chocolate and cake, but y'all keep taking them all. Stop it. Your punishment in hell for the quarantine hell is going to be that all your snacks taste bad. You get all the good snacks, you get all the Oreos, and it tastes like sand. Every bite, you eat it, even if it's soft, even if it's cotton candy, you bite it and it's supposed to melt and it tastes like sand. Enjoy your sand snacks, you greedy assholes. Stop taking the milk chocolate Oreos. Save some for me. Alright, the fourth layer of hell in Dante's Inferno's version is greed. Those who just wanted anything they could get their hands on and they just wanted it to have it kind of thing. Like, it was never enough. Those people, their eternal punishment was that they had to take these boulders and smash them into each other in order to try to get these little things that were scattered around, from what I could read. Some of the internet versions said that there were things on the ground, some of them weren't. Again, I didn't read the books. I don't know. If someone read it and correct me. But they were basically smashing in order to try to win things. But then they would immediately get it taken away, I guess, from the next person who won. A forever greed fight. The equivalent of that will be those Karens and those Susans and those Bobs and those Roberts who were just straight up taking all the toilet paper and all the hand sanitizer, all the necessities, like a full cart, a full buggy just full of toilet paper and hand sanitizer and like paper towels. It's freaking ridiculous. You're going to hell. You're going to quarantine hell. And your punishment is that every time you turn around to put more in your cart, people have stolen from your cart and it's empty. And you had to start over and over for eternity. That is your punishment for being so greedy and taking all of those things when other people need them too. A buggy full. You don't need that much. The next layer of hell was anger. And their eternal punishment was an eternal fight in the river Styx. And I'm not sure where the river Styx is originally located in Greek mythology, but in this version, it's the fifth layer of hell, and it's nothing but a full-out brawl, 24/7 of just angered people. I want to watch the river Styx brawl. That would be amazing. The quarantine hell version of that would be those people who are wrongfully protesting. Those ones who like either stupid protests, or like, why are you even doing this? Nothing's being infringed upon you. You're being dumb. Or those ones who pretended to be actual protesters and they weren't actually protesting anything. They were just there to take advantage of the movement, degrade the movement, so on and so forth, all those things. Your punishment is that those people who are actually protesting during this time for things that are actually important, whether it be BLM, protect the children, protesting against the children in cages or what's going on the border, all those protesters, they way one by one will stomp you the fuck out. I mean, just straight up bunny court smash to your face, all for the rest of eternity. Enjoy hell. Number 6 is heresy. Heresy, for those who do not know, is crimes against God. One of the big forms of heresy back in those times, they had the crusades where people were going out for God, but they were raping and pillaging and killing all of these people in all of these lands. If you want to know more about the crusades, I encourage you to Google it. Extra Credit History has done an amazing job on that. I'll actually link that down below too. This is more educational than I thought it would be. One of the ways that people committed heresy a lot ended up being during the Crusades, and they would then sell tickets to heaven, basically. I forgot exactly what it was called. And then it would be like, oh yeah, even though you did all this stuff, if you give me money, then you can then go to heaven. Dante didn't quite like that, and a lot of those people ended up in hell. So that's just a little background on that. The quarantine equivalent to that would be those who are like fake Christians. And as an actual Christian, I can't stand these people. Those who are like, oh, coronavirus is just God's work. This is God's work. Or they're like saying how God, like having to wear a mask is an infringement on God or like their beliefs or anything like that. Anyone who is using God unnecessarily. First of all, that's actually a sin. That's using the Lord's name in vain. So that is a sin. Quarantine punishment for that is going to be that you are going to have to sit there while an atheist, who you obviously despise because all fake Christians despise atheists, is going to sit there with their angel wings as they explain to you, using the Bible, how what you did was wrong, while an actual angel is behind them agreeing with everything they say for all eternity. And chances are they're gonna love it because chances are they're Gen Z and we like shit like that. 7th layer of hell is violence. This layer of hell is broken down into 3 different ones: the murderers, the suicide, and the gays. So the murderers, they were boiled forever in blood. The suicide is the suicide forest. Those who committed suicide were turned into trees, bleeding trees. Oh, and those for you who don't know, in Christianity, it is seen as a sin to take your own life because it is seen as your soul is not yours in the first place. It is God's, and for you to have taken yourself out of the equation before you were perceived time, then it's seen as the sin. Just to clear things up. And the last one, the gays, they were in a desert on fire. My equivalent to that would be in the first layer with the murderers. Those are going to be the bad apple policemen who wrongfully shot and murdered innocents, or the ones who basically abuse their power and kill using it. You're going to this layer of hell. Your punishment, whatever you did to kill the innocent, is now going to be done to you for all of eternity. The next level, where it would be the suicide forest, would be the anti-maskers who refused to wear masks, which is basically a form of suicide at this point. Your punishment for willingly not doing the thing that would have kept you safe in the first place is that you are now denied healthcare, and you have the most severe form of COVID-19 that there is. Enjoy. And lastly, for where the gays would go, I'm saying gay loosely because in that time, anyone who even slightly liked the same sex was just considered gay, where there would be burning fire. But I mean, everyone would be together, so it'd probably be a party. Let's be serious. We know how to make fun of anything. Half of us want to die anyway. Like, what's the point? The quarantine versions would be those who agree with Trump's rollbacks on LGBT rights across the board. Those punishments for people who go there, your punishment will be that you will then be denied everything that gays have been denied for being straight. So everyone who was denied anything for their wedding, you now are denied flowers for your wedding because you're straight. You're now denied healthcare because you're straight. You're now denied everything that the gays were denied because you were straight. And now you get to see what that feels like for all eternity. Enjoy. The 8th layer of hell was divided also into 10 sections. Each section was run by a demon. All right, and this was for fraud. So they probably had a bunch of lawyers. And then a demon ran each section and gave out their own individual punishments. In the quarantine version, that will be saved for those who, you know how right now during quarantine people are looking out for financial help, whether it be for unemployment or through these other organizations who truly need it. Those who don't need it and are taking advantage of it and are like, I'm just going to apply because no one's really checking right now, and I'm just going to go ahead and get this extra bag, y'all are going to this layer of hell. For each organization, whether it be unemployment or anything else, through private organizations that people went to, that will be a different subsection in this category, and you will get a demon who will decide their punishment for each one. Because I'm not going to about to sit here and think of 10. That's too much, and I don't have a lot of brain. I've been blanking out this entire video. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not about to sit here and think of 10 different punishments, even though I technically thought of 9, but you know, whatever. That will be your punishment. Enjoy. Whatever that demon thinks of will probably be worse than anything I could possibly think of. And lastly, the 9th layer of hell was for treachery or betrayal. And this one, it was a frozen lake, and it started off with people being frozen and high up. So like frozen to their knees or to their waist, and for things that they did. And as you went deeper and deeper towards the center, you were then frozen higher and higher, all the way up, like to your chest or higher up to your knees, and all the way up to your head, to your face. And as the further down they went, the further down in the lake they were, all the way down into the very center, where they had Satan himself, who had 3 heads, who was chewing on a treacherous person in history, in each mouth. Brutus, Cassius, and Judas. My version of that in Quarantine Edition would be those who scammed these poor people in order to make an extra buck, knowing damn well that people don't have money right now. Those scammers who were like, oh, just put in your social security number right here and we're actually unemployment. Or if you call and give us this and your credit card number, we're unemployment or whatever. Or we're these people and you're going to get extra to your bank and blah, blah, blah. Like those scammers, you're going straight to this level of hell. And you're going to be deeper and deeper depending on how much money you got. And your punishment for scamming these poor innocent people who were honestly just desperate in their situation is that you get to feel what they felt whenever you saw all of their money taken away from them. Whatever they felt when they saw their money was gone, when they had to get their things repossessed, or when they had to get kicked out because of the actions that you did, you get to feel what they felt for the rest of eternity. And if you have no feelings, then you get to feel it times 10. You now have developed feelings. Congratulations. Now enjoy this pain and suffering and sorrow of what am I going to do next? How am I going to do this? How am I going to move on? You are going to be in that layer of hell. The more you took from someone, the worse it is. There is a devil or demon, whatever, and this quarantine layer of hell that has 3 heads. For the police, the bad apple police, for the Karens who took everything when they didn't need to, and Donald Trump himself. Enjoy that for the rest of eternity. By the way, if you saw me looking down a lot, I had everything written down, so that was a lot more educational than I thought it was going to be. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what your version of quarantine hell would be. What would your layers be? Have you read the book? Do you think I did a good job? Links to my Twitter and my OnlyFans down below, and love thy neighbor as thyself. Okay, bye.